So, good evening, everybody, or maybe good morning or good afternoon if you're in the Americas. Count Beauty, lovely to see you. So, hi to Sing, hi to Count Beauty, hi to Valentine, hi to Vitali, to Roland, to Quarenta, and to Hadi as well. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. I'm going to start with one of these articles where you've got to fill in the gaps. Hi Manisco, lovely to see you. Okay, this is the original article. And Aditi, lovely to see you. And Meme. And Vina, lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, and Oppa. So, guess the word that might fit in the gap. And Dora, lovely to have you, Dora. And, okay, so, this is the game where we have to fill in the gap. Yeah, or the gaps. So, Kiranjet and Oksana, lovely to see you as well. And... wow, Ollie and King of the Jungle. Wow, lots of people suddenly coming in. So, New York declares state of emergency over polio. The governor of New York has a state of emergency over polio as evidence that the virus is across the state. Reynard, lovely to see you as well. And it's really good to have you with us, Dora. Okay, so what goes in the gap? So, Vyacheslav, good evening, great to have you. So, let's see, Singh said has announced. That works quite well. David Lutz says declares a suggested spread. This is great. Evidence suggest. Yeah, suggest works quite well. I really like David Lutz's declare. Geo, lovely to see you. Is spreading. That sounds pretty good, Sing. Okay, Quarenta goes for announced a state of emergency. Elizabeth Moses, hello. And let's see. Ronan goes has declared a state, one of the states of emergency. Aditi goes for declared is spreading. Declared. No. You're the first in with declared, David. And well, I have to say that's very good. Meme goes for declared. Proclaimed. Proclaim works quite nicely. Ollie goes for declared. Says, yeah, that works. Vina has adopted for learn. I quite like that. As evidence asserts, that's a good one for learn, is rampant across the state. I love that, rampant. That's really good. Vina goes for spreading. And Count goes for proclaimed a state of emergency. That's pretty good. Evidence shows. I like that, shows. Bespeaks. Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Great to have you. Okay, so Sharon declared shows that the virus as okay, so has declared that evidence shows that the virus is spreading. It needs to be an ing. Has announced. Geo suggests. Okay, I think suggest works for very well here. Evidence substantiating, that's a really good word as well. Ollie goes for spreading. Yeah, is spreading. Manji, lovely to have you. Evidence substantiating, I like that, substantiating, definitely. That the virus is spreading by Ronan. Okay, so let me give you the right answer, well, not the right answer, because there are lots of right answers. So this is what was in the original. The governor of New York has declared, well done David Lutz, you were the first one in there with declared. Okay, a state of emergency over polio as evidence emerges, substantiates, corroborates, comes into sight, shows. So notice the grammar, Hadi, has declared. As evidence signifies, Hadi, is rife across the state. I like that word rife. That's very good, Hadi. I like your is rife across the state is a good word. Yeah? Okay. So, let's go to the next one. Very good. That was very good, all of you. So, 1 second. Let me just let this come. So, health officials say wastewater samples in New York City and 4 counties has tested for a poliovirus that can paralysis. Funda, lovely to see you. So, and 4 affected counties. Okay, Camp Beauty, the 4 nearest counties, but nearest is the idea. This part of the day, this time of day, this part. So this part of the day, but this time of day. So we've got positive here for Vitali and for Count. Positive for Singh. Can cause for Vitali. Great to have you, Sonny. And 4 other counties, that's fine, Newman. Can cause paralysis. Good, Count. That can cause for Singh. Okay. Cause paralysis for AK. Hi, Mahmoud. And for nearby counties, I like that nearby a lot. That's a good word, Valentine. And Renyard's put neighbouring, which is also very good. Tested positive. Okay, test positive. Can cause, definitely. So, for neighbouring, that's good, Renyard. Tested positive. Can cause for Oksana. Positive and cause for Patricia. Great to have you. For neighbour counties. Okay, David, you need neighbouring. Okay. I've tested positive. Can entail. I like that word entail from David Lutz. That's very good. For neighbouring counties from Ollie. For adjoining counties. That's another good word, Quarenta. For other counties. That's fine, Sharon. Positive and cause. That can cause no S, Oppa. For other counties, positive, and that can induce. Induce is good, Sharon. For detached counties, I think I would say individual Count Beauty. Coterminous. I love the word coterminous counties. That's very good, Vitali. For other cities. Yeah, for other towns. For other. So. Andorra. Other. For other counties. Test positive, and that can result in good work, Dora. For surrounding counties. I like that word, surrounding. Ooh, who put that word, adjourning? So, you've got the wrong word, but you've got the right idea. To adjourn a meeting is to finish a meeting. You mean adjoining, Ronan. Yeah? Adjoining. Adjoining. That's a really good word, by the way. Positive for Renyard. Abutting. I love abutting as well, Aditi. Positive and cause. Abutting. That's really good, Manji. Adjacent counties. Neighbouring for Geo. Tested positive for Vina. For different counties. Yeah, that works as well, Patricia. Positive and cause for Manji. Can bring about. Yeah, can bring about. That works, but it's two words. Develop. That can develop paralysis. I would say, Renyard, can develop into paralysis. Excuse me. So, Vina says can cause. 4 contiguous counties. Who was that? Singh. Can trigger paralysis. I like trigger as well, Roland. 4 other counties and positive for Funda. Good. Can inflict paralysis. That's a good word. Distant counties. Yeah, they could be distant. I think, Vitali's bordering. Yep. Can induce. Definitely Oppa. That can cause. Good, Funda. Adjacent. Yes, I think that adjacent is, the right word. And 4 related counties. Can test positive and can induce. Good for learn. Other positive bring about. Those work, Hadi. Hey, your phone. Okay, very, very good, Ronan. Yes, it's happened to me before as well, that. Tested positive for similar counties. Okay, here we go. So, health officials can manifest into, yes, I think manifest, and had the adjacent positive and can fount. It's a bit formal. I guess it would work, Hadi. End up having. Yes, Vina. So health officials can lead to, Newman. Lead to. You need the preposition to. Health officials say wastewater samples in New York City. And for adjacent, okay, counties have tested positive for poliovirus. That can cause paralysis. So positive and cause was easy. This adjacent was more problematic. Well done, Vitali. And who else? Manji. I like AK's Quarenta's adjoining. Okay, so adjacent. That was lovely. Yes, adjoining, adjacent. They're the same meaning. Adjoining, adjacent, abutting, which we had from Aditi, neighbouring. Yeah. Okay, so let's try the next one. Only one case so far has been. It was the first in the country in nearly a decade. Okay, so only one case has so far been. It was the first in the country in nearly a decade. So, what goes into this one? The only one case. Doesn't work, 40. There is only one case. That definitely works, Newman. Not only one case has so far been. I guess that actually works, Roland. As only one case so far. As only one case has so far been confirmed. I like the confirmed, Oksana. So the doesn't work. It would be only one case with nothing at the beginning. Okay, and yet only one case. Yet is going much closer, Ronan. Yet only one case so far has been fatal. I think you probably need a full stop there. Yeah. This comma here gives you a clue as well. You're doing very well, Ronan. Not the. I'm not happy with the here. It would just say only one case has so far been. Fortunately. That's really good, Count. Fortunately. Yes, I like that. Fortunately. Definitely, Count Beauty. So, Singh, there is only one case that has so far been detected. However, Veena, yes, Veena, you're there. You're there. However, only one case has so far been... And then Singh puts detected. So, however, is by far the closest answer yet. Wow, there's so many. Although, yes, that's it. Although one case has so far been registered. I love that, Valentine. As only one case, yeah, it doesn't work because the sentence doesn't fit. And that as doesn't work. And there is doesn't work. It's my pleasure. Contour. Woof. I guess. Well, the contour of the agenda that they are going to implement has so far been reported. Reported is good at 40. Since one case, the since doesn't work. Sharon. Found looks fine. Detected for Rose, definitely for the second. Luckily, that works very well. Although my prizes are going for Veena and Valentine so far. Yeah? Okay. And... Okay, however, confirmed for David. Those are good. Has been detected, definitely Patricia. Has been registered, yes, Newman. However, and verified for Renyard, that's good. Even though, and reported for Aditi, that's good. Hitherto. Okay, so for Learn, as yet, only one case has been detected. I like what you've done with the as yet for Learn. So far. Okay, we need something to justify this comma. And that's why this however and although only one case has so far been detected, reported, yeah, then you can have the comma. If you say as only one case, you can't have a comma. You need a full stop here or a semicolon. Yeah. Okay, so far for, wow. Okay, for SVS. Thus, for, no. Surfaced, I like that surfaced, Khadi. Okay, Ollie, although, definitely. Luckily for Veena. Verified, I like that verified word here, Ollie. That's a good one. Fortunately and detected for Dennis. By far... Nevertheless, yeah, I think this nevertheless is a good one as well, Manji. Although, Geo. So, Oppa, diagnosed. Not, I know it's diagnosticar, but to diagnose. Yeah, but it would work. Has been diagnosed. It would be good. Detected, registered for Manji. Woof. If something's cogent, it makes sense. If it's coherent, it fits together well. Found for Geo, that's good. Has so far been known. I don't like known, 40. Although and found, both of those are great, Geo. Oh, it's a... Ronan, one thing to say. Every time people ask me a good question about a good word, you can almost guarantee I'm going to make a video. Yeah, but it needs to be a good word. Concourse was a good word to ask. Yeah, it made a great video. By now, you see it's this comma again, Count Beauty. So because, no, David. So we need something although, however, nevertheless. Yeah, okay, has so far been developed. Has so far developed without that. Nonetheless for Veena, even though only one, yes, even though would work quite nicely, Williams. Okay, to the authorities' relief. I like that. That's very good. Authenticated. So, here we go. Although only one case has so far been confirmed, it was the first in the country in nearly a decade. A premonition, a presage. Yes, they're the same. So, let's go to the next one. So, very good work. Very good work in here. So, polio was 2 words from the US by vaccinations that began in 1995. By 1979, the US was declared polio-free. But you need 2 words, Vitali. I would accept eradicated definitely as one of them. You're going to need some sort of modifier, Vitali. By the way, I like that to the authorities' relief as well. Oh, rooted out. That works very nicely. Was rooted out. Was first eradicated. That's great. 40. Was completely eradicated. That's good, Vina. That's good. Wiped out. Was wiped out from the US. That works very nicely, David. Okay, Newman, you need 2 words. That's one of them. Was warded off. Okay, was warded off from the US. I guess that works, Manji. I'm not particularly happy to have that in the passive. I would say the US warded off polio through vaccinations that began in 1995. Was eroded and wiped out. Okay, eradicated. So Patricia's going with this eradicated from Vitali and Newman. Yes. Was life banned. So, Count, you normally say banned for life, but that's talking about a place. It means you're not allowed to go in. Yeah, so I was banned from the football ground for life. Wiped out definitely works, Hadi. Swiped away. No, because to swipe was wiped away. Was wiped out. Wiped out, Vina. Was cut out. I'm going to go for Vina's wiped out, Roland. Was rooted out. I like that, rooted out. That's a very good phrasal verb. Ollie goes for totally eliminated. I like totally eliminated. Utterly erased. That works well, Oppa. Was totally diminished. So notice to diminish means to get less. So you can't use totally with diminish. Yeah, because diminished, you don't get to the bottom. The light diminished, but it didn't go to 0. Was completely eradicated from Sharon. I like this adverb verb. Eventually purged. Ooh, that's really good for learn. Completely eradicated from Manji. Was written off. To write off. Was written off by the US. To write off, in accounts this means you make the value of something 0 because you don't think it's going to work. And you could, your idea of written off, I love it. This is because to write something off, to say that it has no value or it's never going to come back. And it's very good in this context. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit with from the US. Yeah? Polio had been written off by the US authorities. They thought it was never coming back. Yeah? So to write off is to believe that something has no value, it's not going to come back, it's not going to affect you again. Considerably eradicated. That's good, Aditi. Totally terminated from Manji. I like that stamped out, Hadi. Eventually eradicated. swept out from Manisco, wiped out, was killed off works, was fully combated. But you can't use this from David, yeah? Was fully combated in the US by vaccinations, brought under control, slowly eradicated. That I like that, slowly eradicated, Patricia. Okay, easily inoculated, was beginning to cease. That works as well. So here we have the answer. Polio was largely eradicated. So well done all of you with eradicated. And notice here it's an adverb with a verb. Yeah, it was largely. It doesn't say completely. Yeah, it says largely, more or less. So they hadn't written it off. Okay, swept clean. The US was swept clean of. So here we go for a new one. So, to New York officials, vaccination rates are too low in parts of the state. Friday's emerging declaration is at flagging immunization rates according to Count Beauty. So if something's flagging, it's losing energy, it's decreasing, it's not as strong. Yeah, so I ran as fast as I could, and after a while I started to flag, to get tired. Woo. Okay, so it looks like the first one is not going to be a problem. Yeah, this preposition makes it easy. So, according to, for Count, Oksana, Manji, Roland, Renyard, and Singh. The rest is more difficult. Is aiming at. That's very close, Oksana. Just modify the grammar. You're almost there. I like that, aiming. Is past at, slowly flagging. I like that, slowly flagging. According to, definitely Oppa. Thank you, Ronan. According to, that's it, Rose and Newman. Aimed at. Yes, is aiming at. Aimed. Okay, aimed or aiming. Well done. So, who started with that? That was Oksana. Well done, Oksana, Singh, Manji, and Ollie. Yes, Oksana, that's it. And Oksana. So, what's this last bit? This is a verb here. Yeah? Yes, Manji, is aimed at. Gross flagging immunization rates. I guess it is targeted at. That definitely works, Roland. Is targeted at. Regrettably flagging. I like that, regrettably. So, Aditi. Ooh! So, Aditi, according to, is aimed at and uplifting. That's much better, Aditi, at uplifting. Forlern has gone increasing. Yeah? So, according to New York officials, it is hinting at increasing. So, at increasingly flagging. Is hinting at increasingly flagging immunization rates. But notice Aditi's is aimed at uplifting flagging immunization rates. That fits Aditi. Okay, and Roland's gone for boosting. And Rose for increasing. Well done, Roland. You're in there. So, according to New York officials, for Hadi, is hinting at deplorably flagging. Is at reversing. I love that reversing, Vitali. That's really good. Amplifying. Yeah. Okay, gradually flagging. Boosting, yes, for Oksana as well. Roland and Oksana, yeah, at boosting, at augmenting. That's good for learn. So let me give you the originals. That was very, very good by all of you. Not announcing, Malak. At surging is aimed at surging immunization rates. Surging would actually, at surging, flagging immunization rates. More or less, Vina, it's close. So, according to New York officials, vaccination rates are too low in parts of the state. Friday's emergency declaration is aimed at boosting flagging immunization rates. So this to me is quite interesting. At boosting, that's it, Manji, is aimed at, is aiming to boost, is aimed at boosting. So I think that's probably enough of this. I think there's one more question, but I'm going to go to our multiple choice now. Okay, so this part's easier. Congratulations, everybody. I'm really pleased with the answers you've been giving. That's a hard exercise we've just done. This now is about how eating affects how you sleep. And it's particularly talking about if you eat cheese, you get nightmares. Okay, so eating closer to bed isn't something we'd encourage, stimulate, boost, incite, spur. But if you do, it's better to eat things that we know are more likely to improve sleep. So we've got encourage from Count, from Oksana, from Singh, from Vitali, from Noemi. Hi, Noemi. From Roland, from Reynard, from Manji, from Quarenta. Wow, thank you, David. That's so kind of you. You're so generous. Wow, thank you, David. Makes me feel really good. So, let's see. Gradually, drastically, could have gone before flagging. Definitely for learn. So, encourage for Vina, for Dora. Incite violence. Yes. If you behave badly to other people, you will get your comeuppance. So encourage for Sharon and Oppa and for Learn and Ollie and can advocate. That works. Encourage for Aditi and Patricia and Hadi and Newman. Thank you again, David. Wow. You're a star as well. Encourage for Newman. Okay, so weed isn't something we'd stimulate. No, coffee stimulates you. To boost is to increase. You incite violence, you incite problems. We'd spur, to spur on, to make go faster. No, encourage, definitely. And Elizabeth Moses, encourage. Okay, yes. This is aimed at stimulating your desire to learn. It's aimed at encouraging your desire to learn. Yeah? But we'd stimulate. On its own, no. I wouldn't stimulate it, because stimulate gives eating to closer to bed more energy. Encourage for Joseph. So, and encourage for SVS. Wow. Thank you, David. Okay. Encourage an action. The others have a subject. Yes. Thank you for learn. Yeah, you can also encourage a person, but you can encourage an action. That's very good for learn. Our sleep quality could also be affected by how we eat cheese and other foods. Quite pretty fairly rather than just the content of our diet. Gupta has found in her research, for example, that not having a normal eating schedule can also lower sleep quality. Okay, this one was easy, wasn't it? So, Radha for Vitali, for Singh, for Learn, for Oksana, for Quarenta, for Count, for Valentine, for Oppa, for Manji, for Noemi, for Ronan, rather than for Manisco, exactly. Rather than for Roland, for Dora, for Renyard, for Ollie. Okay. Rather than for Patricia and for Sharon, because it's the only one that makes sense. Rather than. Yeah, I know rather has a similar meaning to fairly, pretty and quite, but that's a different meaning. That means more or less. So rather for Rose, for Vina. You got it. I've actually got some really nice cheese today, thank you, Oksana. Rather for Elizabeth, rather for Hadi. Okay. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Yuri. It's the second time in 2 days people have said I've got this Harry Potterish vibe. Okay. So, Aditi rather than, Newman rather than. It's a pleasure, Yuri. Okay, so this one was easy. Rather. It can't be anything else. And. Okay, rather than for Malak as well. Okay, so here we go. Going to bed hungry and thirsty could also lead, cause, base, move more vivid dreams, according to Nielsen's research. And this one I think is going to be easy for you as well. So sing. What is the preposition that goes with lead? Lead. What's the preposition, Sing? Okay, Count Beauty goes cause, Vitali goes cause, Quarenta for cause, for Noemi, for Oppa, for Oksana, for Dora, for Valentine, for Patricia, for Vina, for Sharon, for Mahmoud, for... So, lead, what's the preposition with lead, Vutu? And if you look below, you can lead to, definitely. Okay, Elizabeth goes for cause, so does Ollie, so does Renyard, Ronan, Newman, lead to, exactly, Vitali. Thank you, Singh. Thank you, Singh. Well done. Rose goes for cause, so does Aditi, Malak, and Roland says lead to. Cause for Miranda. Can move. Move to. Can move. Can also move more. I'm not happy with move at all, Malak. Yeah, I don't like move at all. Cause for Manji for learn, and that's it, Vina, too. Lead to, Newman. Okay, based on. So this research, based on research, according to Nielsen, going to bed hungry could do this. Okay, cause for Hadi and cause for Shubham. Okay, that's brilliant. So, can cause. And let's go to the next one. More vivid or vivider. Woof. I would say more vivid. Vid. I wouldn't say vivider. It's interesting. Let's see. The problem with that is I know there are technical grammar rules to that comparative, but native speakers don't follow them. Okay, can invocate. Invoke. Can, I think, invoke, David. Ignite, that would work as well, Valentine. Okay, get carried away. Evoke. I like Renyard's evoke best of all. Yeah, can evoke more vivid dreams. Yeah, I think evoke is probably the best of those. Because invoke is to call upon something. Okay, so subjects who reported more often going for long times between eating had more vivid dreams. And we know that fasting, not eating, breakfast, is historically associated with concocting, incubating, setting, growing vivid dreams, he says. This, however, is based on spiritual beliefs rather than scientific evidence. So, Vitali's put setting, so has Singh. Incubating has Singh has gone for, growing for Oppa, concocting. To concoct means to mix, but from all sorts of weird things. Growing for learn, incubation for Patricia as well. I don't think you can grow a dream, Oppa or Renyard or Sharon. Incubating for Elizabeth. Okay, growing for Shuban, setting. Setting, you see, I would say for setting up. I'm not happy with setting either. Growing. Growing doesn't work for either Malak or for learn. Concoct, to make up, but to make up something unsuitable. Yeah, to make up something with unsuitable ingredients. Yeah, he concocted an excuse for being late. Yeah, this concoction tastes disgusting. Yeah, growing for Valentine. Inducing, absolutely, Oksana. Concocting stories or excuses. Hadi's gone for setting, Ollie for growing. No need for an infinitive. Yep. Yes, David. Concoct a lie, that's good. Incubating for Patricia. For concocting vivid dreams. For growing. Ronan's gone for incubating. So, notice, they're talking about what happens before and then the result afterwards. Yeah? An incubator is where you put something to incubate an eggs or a baby's. Set up. So, the answer here is incubating. Is giving the right initial conditions for something to grow, for something to be strong, and that's why they've used incubating. Okay, I think this one was difficult. I don't like concocting, I don't like setting, I don't like growing. Incubating's the only one that fits. Yeah, it's the only one that could be reasonable. So, well done, Patricia, but there was someone else right at the beginning. Who started with incubating? That was Singh, yeah. It was Singh who guessed for incubating. Yeah, to incubate. Associated with, definite. Okay, associated with vivid dreams. Yes, David. Okay, so let's try this next one. Yeah, your meme. That one was easy. Huh. Okay, so Nielsen also found other possible ways our eating behaviours influence our dreams, including being on a diet, binge, bender, gorge, glut or spree, eating, and emotional eating. So, being on a diet. Notice this hyphen goes with eating. Patricia says this one's easy. Yeah, if you concoct it, something disappointing, exactly. Okay, to concoct a plan. So, we've got, this one looks easy to me. Okay, binge for Vitali, for Oksana, for Singh, for Count, for Quarenta, for Valentine, for Natalia, for Miranda, for Manji. Concoct a conspiracy. Okay, I think maybe Renyard concoct a conspiracy where no conspiracy exists. So I think I would accuse Mr. Trump of concocting a conspiracy where no conspiracy exists. Verlearn goes binge eating, binge watching. Yes, binge eating, definitely. Binge for Ronan, for man. So to gorge. The collocation is binge eating. Gorge eating. I guess the meaning of gorge works, to gorge yourself, but the collocation binge eating, as says Elizabeth, Sharon, Natalia, Ronan, Yuri, 40, it's binge eating, Opa. Binge eating, not spree eating, binge eating. Binge for Nora. Spree says Vutu as well. It's binge eating. Thank you, Candeep. Gluttony, binge eating. That sounds like me. Binge eating for Hadi, for Reynard. An eating spree. An eating spree. I think I would put eating spree afterwards. Might just work. You hatch a conspiracy. Yeah. Okay, but notice, Vitali, to hatch a conspiracy is to work together. If you, I think, concoct a conspiracy, this is somebody seeing things that aren't there. Binge eating for Patricia, for Geo. Gorging. To gorge yourself means to eat until you're so full. Gorge, it talks about your throat. Binge for Bova, for a spree, says Aditi, and binge said road, like binge watching. Yes, exactly, that's the idea. So binge eating, gorge oneself on, that's it. Good evening, Apurva. So binge eating, definitely. A bender is when you drink a lot of alcohol. Yes. So he went on a bender all weekend. His bender lasted all weekend. Okay, so gorge, to gorge yourself, to gorge on. Glut. A glut is when there is a huge supply which vastly outsupplies the demand. Speed eating, stress eating, binge eating. Spending spree. So, a spree is where you spend lots of money, or a buying spree. Gorge eating doesn't exist. Yeah, you gorge yourself on food. So, I gorged myself on noodles last night. To pig out, to gorge on. A glutton gorges on things. Okay, so, yeah, this is definitely... Binge eating disorders, exactly. Hatch a conspiracy. Antonio, great to have you. Go on a spending spree. I love gluttony's my favourite sin. Okay. Intuitive eaters whose food consumption was herded, flown, sailed, driven by hunger rather than emotion, seem to have more positive dreams in Tory's research too. Okay, so we've got driven for Vitali, for learn, for count, for sing, for Valentine, for Oksana, for Noemi, for 40, for Opa, for Apo, for Dora, and for Manji. Because I love Oriental food, Patricia. Okay. Driven for Ollie, for Manisco, for Natalia, for Sharon, for Aditi. Driven by hunger, for Roland. For Geo, for Renyard, for Miranda as well. This was easy. Driven by, for Patricia, for Yuri, for Vutu as well, and for Vina. Okay, I think this one was a landslide. To herd cattle, to move cattle or cows in a certain direction. To herd people in a certain direction. Yeah, is to make a group of people go in a certain direction. Okay, so... Driven by Vina, by Shuban, by Hadi, by Antonio. Spurred by. Yeah, I think spurred works, Antonio. Driven for Ronan. Just noodles. Woof, no. Lots and lots of other things as well. Vegetable wontons, some delicious baos. Bean curd. But the noodles were sweet potato noodles. They were really delicious. Driven for Rose. 6 others. Sloth, greed, lust, pride, anger and envy. Induced. Induced would definitely work, go. Yeah, but gluttony's my favourite. Okay, so definitely driven by. Driven by. Induced by, driven for Zaru as well. Okay, so this next one could be more interesting. To test this, there needs to be laboratory studies where people are given specific foods before they go to sleep. Nielsen says, but this would be tricky, crafty, wily, shifty research to do. I was driven by my emotions at the moment. So you need to become an objectivist if your emotions drive you up. So driven by ambition, Roland. Wetted by. That's quite nice. I like that. So Count goes for tricky. So does Vitali and Singh and Antonio and Vutu and Noemi. This is going to be a landslide. By Noemi, by Valentine, by Manji. Well, it's okay. Impasta. It's not pasta. Fake noodles are not pasta. Yeah, impasta. Okay, tricky for Geo, for random, for Apple, for Ronan, for Sharon, for Renyard. Tricky, but without research. Would be tricky. Okay, you can do it with tricky. I think I agree with you, Oksana. Okay, Manisco, shifty. If somebody is shifty, you can't trust them. This guy looks shifty. He's always moving. Yeah, he's always looking around to see if the police are watching him. Yeah, so this is a very shifty individual. Yeah, most politicians are shifty people. So, tricky for Patricia, for Roland. Very challenging. That's the meaning. Absolutely, David. Tricky for Oppa. Tricky for Ollie. And for Vina. Shifty. So, shifty is untrustworthy. Somebody you can't trust. That's a pleasure, Rose. I enjoy teaching people. So, shifty doesn't work. Wily means intelligent or clever, using your wiles, using your intelligence. So I think if it's wily research, it would be recommended. Shifty, shady, exactly, Oksana. Rose, tricky research, definitely tricky is the answer. Tricky research. And crafty means clever. Wily means intelligent. Wily comes from wiles. Yeah, using your intelligence. Yeah, wily coyote is always trying to get the road runner. Okay, okay. So if you're wily, you're careful and clever and intelligent. Yeah, and it's very positive. Crafty, clever as well. No, let's see. Would be tricky to do. Would be tricky to do without the research. Would be tricky research to do. I think they both work fine. I think they both work fine, Vitali. Yeah? It would be tricky to do. This would be tricky research to do. Yeah? Let's see. I think the fact that it's this research, it's probably a word that you don't need because it's clear. it says there needs to be studies, and by the way, I personally think they should say there need to be studies, plural, but that's a different one. Okay, so let's go to the next one. No problem, Ronan. Lovely to see you. It's been great to see you. Thanks for coming, Ronan. Would be tricky research. Research is normally uncountable, Oksana. Would be tricky research. Research uncountable usually. Okay. When held in, held down, held over, held up for scrutiny, the link between nightmares and cheese seems to be as filled with as many holes as a clod, wad, clump, chunk of Emmental. Yes, Ronan. Thursday, 9:30 UK time. Yeah, 9:30 UK time, 10:30 Spanish time. So Vitali's gone for chunk and Oksana's gone for held up. And Neo's gone for held up. Sing for held up. For learn, held up and chunk. Count Beauty, held up and chunk. Up and chunk for upward. Okay, yeah. Held up and chunk by Vitali. Ollie for held up. Okay, held up for oppa and chunk for oppa. And the same for Manji. Held up for scrutiny. You hold it up to the light so you can look at it, and that's the idea. A chunk, very definitely. Held up, well done Dora. Held up for a chunk of Emmental. A wedge of cheese or a chunk of cheese. Chunk for Patricia, chunk for up for Rose, up and chunk for Williams. So a clod of earth, a wad of paper or a wad of money, a clump of trees, a clump of grass, but a chunk of cheese, a chunk of bread, a chunk of change. When held up for scrutiny. So you hold something up to the light. It's lifted up so that everybody can see it. And that's the idea, Renyard. So, no problem, Vina. So held up and chunk for Renyard. Chunk for 40, held up. You hold it up to the light, Renyard. Held up and chunk for Hadi. I don't understand. The link. Okay, so the link between nightmares and cheese, the evidence that links these two is rubbish, because a piece of Emmental cheese is full of holes. It's a cheese that has bubbly holes in it, great big holes, and if evidence is full of holes, it's not logical. Yeah? Okay, so if it's not logical, your argument is full of holes. Yeah? His logic is full of holes. It's not logical. It doesn't hold water. Okay, and then they've used a metaphor here. A chunk of Emmental cheese is full of holes. It's got lots and lots and lots of holes. Yeah? Okay, and that's the idea, Zaru. A wad of chewing gum, a clump of reeds, that's good. Cheese may clump in a dish. Yes, you need the curds to clump together and then you press it. A wad of banknotes, a wad of greenbacks. Hey, love cheese. No problem, 40. It's been great to have you. So, to hold up for scrutiny and a chunk of Emmental cheese. Okay, so at least one more. Okay, this is really good. See you, AK. Thanks for coming. It's been wonderful to have you. Okay, so, but there is evidence suggesting how and what we eat more generally could have do, be, look. The difference between a good or a terrifying night's sleep. Yes, French and Swiss cheese is very expensive. I don't think Emmental is worth it at all. Yeah? Okay, so we've got some answers. Vitali goes for B, Count for do, Sing for B, Apord for B, Manji for B, Antonio for B, Neo B, Noemi B, Can B for Oppa, B for Sharon, B for Learn, B for Oksana, B for Ollie. Vina goes for Have the difference, B for Nora. Notice most normally we say something to make the difference, but it's not there. So do for Yuri, as in a fondue dish with Emmental, yes. Could be for Patricia, B for Zadu. Okay, this looks like you've got this mostly. And B for Renyard as well. Okay, so can look the difference. It can't be. Yeah? Look this, no. Could be for Hadi, B for Renyard, B for Zadu. I keep wanting to say Zazu when I see your name. Could have the difference. No, it's not have a DT. Could be the difference or make the difference. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to stop there. I'm hot and we've done a really good class. It's been very intense. So thank you very much, all of you. You're a fantastic group and I'm lucky to have you. Special thanks to David Lutz for his super generous donation. And let's see, next class will be on Tuesday 13th of September at 9:30 a.m. UK time. Let me just check that. Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, that looks perfect. So thank you all for coming. It's been brilliant to have you. And take care.